PreHeat wants to knock off the other PreHeat. There's another mage named PreHeat who just like took his name but spelled it differently, and he like tries to create YouTube content. And even though this kid's like super innocent and he probably doesn't mean anything by it, PreHeat like, well, I don't want to say he like despises him, but every time he gets brought up, he gets super mad.
The pettiness of world first raters knows no bounds. I'm assuming this is what it is. Seems to be some confusion here. I'm not PreHeat nor PreHeat. So there's PreHeat with 2 E's and PreHeat. There's PreHeat and PreHeat. I have nothing to do with the situation. I just happened to come across the tweet. The dude's trying to spin a story. Yo, limit. Okay, what is this here? Y'all deserve to know what... Okay, you all deserve to know what's been happening lately, so here it is. A little over a month ago, a long-standing, seemingly harmless online feud came to a boiling point whenever I received by email a cease and desist order from Complexity Limit's mage, PreHeat. From those who don't completely understand how a cease and desist order works, he's essentially threatening to pursue legal action against me if I do not either change my name/brand or stop creating content online with my current name. In order for many of you to understand why it's come to this, I'll give a little backstory. Somewhere around 5 years ago, it was brought to my attention through creating YouTube content and first starting out on Twitch that there was another person who also played mage named PreHeat. Also important to note here that his name is spelled PreHeat. Okay, like the actual like preheat, like preheat an oven. And then his name is PreHeat with 2 E's. Okay, that makes sense. While he played in guild, was much higher ranked than I was. While I initially just chalked it up to being coincidence, I didn't put much thought into it. After all, we're playing a video game, and to this day, there exists plenty of characters with the same name. Yeah, especially if your name's PreHeat. This is not a unique name. Oven Andy? Yeah, I guess so. Let me see over here. This is given an online name and is even remotely popular. So, of course, I didn't think that years later the situation would have me sitting here reading a cease and desist, but here I digress. Around the time that I first started to receive some traction on online content, primarily through YouTube, through a focus on Fire Mage gameplay and World of Warcraft, people would occasionally stop by and make remarks about the situation about there being 2 PreHeats. As best as I could, I explained it, there was no affiliation. Any form of research into us at the time would show that we are not the same person. For date and validation, I began posting content on YouTube in September 2013. Okay, this seems like something that's true. As time went on, I started to get somewhat harassed by complete strangers through whispers in game, oftentimes referring to me as the fake PreHeat. I assumed this stemmed from PreHeat's high standing in ranking guilds, but I couldn't understand why I was being targeted to that extent. In February of 2018, I went ahead and reached out to him via Discord to hopefully dispel the rumors that I was some sort of quest to copy him or impersonate him in any way. I believe a lot of this, or the 2 PreHeats confusion, initially began when I had written a guide on the Altered Time website. I opened up a direct message and the conversation happened. In all seriousness, my man, I never intended to copy your name or anything like that. Okay, so this is PreHeat. Okay, and now this is PreHeat responding to PreHeat. So then PreHeat says back from PreHeat, he says, I believe you. Okay, listen. Let me read the rest of this. Okay, I want to get through it. I believe you, but I also feel personally attacked every time I see you type something, so I've got mixed feelings. I wonder if he feels personally attacked every single time he goes to the baking aisle at a supermarket. Like, I wonder, because they use that word there too. Really, honestly, man, it isn't my nature to be like that at all. I'm sorry that you feel that way, but it truly isn't the case. I've never had a reason to say anything or direct any negativity towards you, and I think you're a chill dude as far as I can tell. So I'm sorry you got the impression that I'm out to mock you. He says, just to be clear, I don't have anything against you. I just wish you would have chosen a different name. It's selfish, but that's how I feel. This guy can have whatever feelings he wants. Are they stupid and silly? Yeah, and he even agrees with that by saying that they're selfish. There's nothing wrong with him saying that. He's expressing how he feels, and there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is whenever you take feelings and you turn those feelings into actions. That is what the issue is. Now, it's pertinent to note, while I was made aware of this other player named PreHeat, I did not see an issue with it whatsoever. As you see in my screenshot of the conversation, I was willing to endure the constant need to remind people that we're not the same person. In hindsight, I should have stood my ground. Well, that's completely fine, right? I mean, no, what he did, like, that was a completely fine conversation. The person was frustrated because they both had the same name, and I do think that would be weird. That would bother a lot of people, and I understand that completely. I should have stood my ground. But I've been creating content on YouTube for a few years at that point, and I had every right to stand up for myself, but I was younger, and I didn't feel like, though arguing and fighting over an online name would come to anything positive. Well, that's because it didn't. Yeah, it hasn't now either, by the way. And to put it bluntly, I acted like a coward whenever I was faced with those situations. I wish I had the integrity and maturity to handle the situation differently back then, but shrug. I don't think he handled it badly at all. This person obviously expressed something that was kind of immature. And this guy was like, I'm sorry I made you feel that way, but I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to do. That seems fine to me. Like, I feel like that's the most mature way to handle it, personally. This thread isn't meant to absolve me of all fault, but it's to categorically state that it's been happening for a long time, needs to come to an end. Okay, all right. Now this is, all right, that's the fucking story. Now we get to the screenshots. Now we get to watch the streamable links. Now we get to actually have a little bit of fun. Okay, thank God. We were reading ourselves a goddamn book there. Knowing everything I've written above, dates including with backstory, I implore you to look over the following forum and form your own opinion about this. Keep in mind, him and I have had a very minimal communication, and for the sake of my attempt to do so, adding dates would not be accurate, but I'm sure those familiar with the content clips have been. PreHeat's YouTube channel, where he only began posting WoW-related content not even a year ago. Okay. 140 views. So I would assume, here's the thing that like underlines all of this. PreHeat is not an original name. It's not. It's a shitty name. It is. Like, it doesn't matter. It's a bad name. It's boring. It's unoriginal. It's a word that's already in the dictionary. Like, these two people are complaining and they're fighting over being able to use a word in dictionary. This is ridiculous. Like, this whole thing is ridiculous. Like, nobody owns the word PreHeat. It's like, you could maybe make an argument. Like, this is not an original. Like, XQC is an original name. Dr. Disrespect is an original name. Asmongold is an original name. PreHeat? That's in the dictionary. PreHeat commenting on a situation openly in a public Discord. He says, I'm PreHeat, I'm in limit. There's apparently some super fan who's using the same name, though. The one with 2 E's. And then he says, I feel that for sure, though. Not sure wins. From what I've gathered, they're a content creator from some top 500 guild. So this always makes it, this always really helps your argument and makes you look good whenever you use your ego that you've derived from being in a WoW guild to tell other people what they can and can't do. Listen. These WoW guilds, like, I'm happy for the WoW guilds and everything like that, but being in a WoW guild doesn't mean that that's not an identity. That's just something you do. That's the truth. It's just something you do. And the worst thing about this is that I think this guy's making a lot of the other guys in the limit probably look bad, because a lot of the other guys in the limit, I know these guys. These are nice, reasonable, just decent dudes. You know, like, these just dudes that play WoW. You know, like, I've met a lot of these guys in real life. So I feel bad for them that they're having to take flack because of this person. Yeah, it makes them look bad. Regardless, this is a very, very bad screenshot. It looks like an asshole. Further in the same conversation. Technically, you can become the third PreHeat now. I'll read the whole thing. Anyone can just start making content as long as they don't correct people who are confused, and they can benefit from the accomplishments that come with the name. So this person is implying that this person, the other guy, is benefiting from the accomplishments that that he had because he was in limit. It seems very delusional. Like, yeah, maybe people might watch him, but like, anybody's gonna notice that like very early on in the videos. And he's also named differently too. It's not like they have the exact same names. Clip taken from, okay, all right, here are some clips. Thank God. All right, I was sick of reading these fucking screenshots. Let's actually get to the fucking clips. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pause this and I want to actually watch the clips.
Literally, the worst thing you could do in this game
Same.
is to get class advice from YouTube.
Be reported.
Like straight up.
Yeah.
Because almost every single YouTube guide you're gonna see online is wrong.
You for your name? No.
Especially ones by
Rip doink.
well, you catch my drift.
That's not the point, though, right? I mean, this guy's basically what he's doing here is he's implying that the guy's videos on YouTube suck, because I mean he very clearly implied in the second half of the clip who he was talking about.
Almost every single YouTube guide you're gonna see online is wrong.
Yeah, like right here.
No.
He pauses and he's getting ready to wind up. He's thinking about it. He's probably reading the chat, getting the positive feedback off of what he's saying, and then he's like,
Especially
you know what?
Ones by,
all right, I'm ready.
Rip doink.
All right. He looks over again. He reads chat again. He's like,
catch my
yeah,
drift.
I'm gonna say it. And then he tries to, he does the thing like, I'm above this a little bit. I'm not down. I'm not gonna be able to get down there and talk shit. I'm above this. Yeah, it's really kind of it's kind of cringe. Let me read the rest of this clip from Limit Max, where he openly discusses the situation.
That PreHeat linked his Twitter is that PreHeat wants to knock off the other PreHeat. There's another mage named PreHeat who just like took his name but spelled it differently, and he like tries to create YouTube content. And even though this kid's like super innocent and he probably doesn't mean anything by it, PreHeat like fucking, well, I don't want to say he like despises him, but every time he gets brought up, he gets super mad. And it's not like I don't even know if he cares. It's just like he thinks that guy's like fucking impersonating him, because he gets asked like all the time. People are just like, yo, dude, loved your new video. And then he just has to deal with that all the time. I think it's fucking hilarious, but
It is.
that PreHeat linked his
It is. Like, and here's the thing, right? Is like obviously like Max doesn't know the situation, right? He's getting the information from his friend, right? So like obviously he's gonna believe his friend. He's like, yeah, okay, whatever, right? And like he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't like know all the things that are in play. And so the guy in his guild, fucking the guy in his guild just tells him this, and so he just goes with his story, right? Because it's his friend, is in his guild. So like Max isn't in the wrong here at all, and even he thinks it's ridiculous, okay? Even whenever he hears only one side of it. Let me see the rest of this. Unfortunately, clip ends. Proceeds to pull up my YouTube channel on screen and tell his viewers not to subscribe to my channel. I like the video evidence of it not happening. Well, yeah, I mean, because he heard it from one guy's perspective. This is the same thing that happened it happens all the time, right? It's like you hear a story from like one of your friends, and it's like, damn, dude, Billy's a jackass. And then you hear it from Billy's perspective, and it's like, damn, actually, Johnny's a jackass. What the fuck? Johnny's an asshole. Oh my God. Okay, let's see here. Clip taken from PreHeat's live stream where he reserves a character name as I spell mine, making it so I can make a character with a different name.
One heat, PreHeat, 3 heat, PreHeat.
So if you look at the two characters that are low level, one of them's maximum, right, for his guildmaster max, and the other one is PreHeat. And so the characters that he's reserving names on are level 1, and the characters that he's intending to play on are level 50. You see what I'm saying? So it's very clear that there's no way, like that's what it is. And so there's no way, in my opinion, he can fucking say that this isn't what he was trying to do, because he used a different like method of making the character for different goals. I think this guy's being totally immature about the situation, or at least so far from what I've read. Let me go back to the rest of the things. From his live stream where he targets me or something that happened, that I wish I still don't understand, and berates me on stream with his guild members.
Oh, I don't know if you guys were here in chat. Did you guys hear about how the fake PreHeat was trying to pull guys from my chat for his keys?
Really?
Pretending to be me.
Huh. That's also the guy that kicked
So-
someone from the guild. Kicked someone from his guild for selling us a PoE, right?
Yeah, the ring. Yeah.
Is that the same guy?
Yeah. It's the same guild.
Dude, what is wrong with that guy? He's like, what's the word I'm looking for? He's something your laurels or something?
It's like, well, no, he's like the shadow version of me, dude. Oh, I don't know if you guys.
I don't want to have, again, I don't want anybody else in Limit to get any hate for this at all. Because all of their understanding of it is through him. So, like, this is not anybody in Limit at all. This is because they hear this from him, and then he's telling his guild what he's doing, right? And it's like, if you're in somebody's guild, you're not going to go and do like an investigation to see if your guildie is lying to you about some YouTuber that you don't even watch. You're just going to be like, ah, shit, dude, what a fucking idiot. And then you just move on. Proof of the cease and desist letter. So this is the trademark. All right, now we're getting into the meat of it, okay? Yeah, we're just going to move on past a lot of this other stuff. Now, this is the real meat of it. Firm counsel of PreHeat was trademark reserved, and as such, we're writing to demand that you immediately cease all infringing mark and comply with the demands as detailed below. So this guy literally sent him a cease and desist letter because his YouTube channel is named the same thing as his. Wow. He deleted his response afterwards. Okay, let me see here. Please note, date recluded. Some date I reached out to him to put the rest of these rumors. Here's a screen cap of him editing what he sent me in order to change the story. Wait, what? So we went back to edit the conversation 2 years later. Wow. Wow. What do you even say about something like this? And like the fact that here's the thing, right? Is that by editing the picture, in my opinion, I think that at least passively implies that he knew that he did something wrong. Besides all this, I continue to be berated and talked about in public Discord servers in a bad light for no apparent reason, other than the reason that PreHeat plays in a world first guild that is more likely to be favored. I'm not including any of that for the sake of not wanting to drag people under the bus, nor is it my goal, what I want to accomplish with this. If you want proof of that, you can search the word PreHeat in the Altered Time Discord. Okay, I'm just going to read the last of it. I don't know what else to say. I've been dead focused on trying to create a name for myself and at the same time build an amazing community for the people same mindset as me. Don't get me, I'm perfectly content with my community. I've reached so far. I'm grateful for it. So this guy sent him a cease and desist. What did he say about it? At the beginning of this year, after being laid off due to coronavirus, Brittany and I decided to turn our content creation into a small business and support the family to pay our bills. Part of that was creating an LLC and filing a trademark to protect our new business. I really don't like this message. The reason why I don't like this message is because he's making two different appeals to emotion. He's making this appeal right here to emotion, and then also making this appeal to emotion as to rationalize his bad behavior. And so, in my opinion, if somebody ever makes an appeal to emotion in that way to rationalize bad behavior, that means that subconsciously or consciously, they know that what they're doing is wrong. Because if they thought that what they were doing was right, they wouldn't feel the need to compromise what they're saying by adding emotional appeals with it as well. We're hoping to make this announcement under more exciting circumstances, but here we are. In the past, there have been some animosity due to our fans trolling one another, but I have no ill will. Just trying to protect the business Brittany and I started for the future. Well, whenever you're trying to protect your business at the expense of somebody else's and damaging theirs, then I don't think just trying to protect my business is a rationalization that makes sense. Like, Love you. Super excited for adventure together. Who would have started the character we made to play? Started what we wanted to go bring us here? Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, the guy put him in a really bad position. Right? Just because you have more standing in the community, World First Guild, does not mean you have any more right over the original owner, PreHeat, who's been making content for years. This is by far the wrong way to go about this. His lawyer is going to be busy, to be honest. Yeah, I can see that. Everyone knows that you're mad because someone's using the same gamer name as you. And deal with it. He had it first. Please don't send a cease and desist to my uffin. Oh, shit, dude. I guess we were following the wrong PreHeat. We were hoping... So if there's no animosity, why send a cease and desist? It's basic legal communication to ask someone to stop. But why should he have to stop? It was a big mistake to get this, to have this guy do it. It was a big mistake to send him to cease and desist. Like, it was a huge mistake. Like that, I'm very surprised he did that. The brand's earliest birth date at the first video was limited as 2 years ago. Under the video PreHeat 4 years ago. So he had a video 4 years. Well, listen, I mean, it doesn't matter who predates who. This is a name. Like, if anything, PreHeat with 2 E's is more original than PreHeat with the H-E-A-T. You don't see PreHeat with 2 E's in the fucking supermarket. If you're renaming something in a different way that phonetically sounds the same, I would say that is one step above literally taking the name from the dictionary and putting it as your name. So if anything, it would be the opposite. Like, you're not gonna, what are you gonna sue Betty Crocker? Because they have PreHeat on the boxes? Just fucking ridiculous. It's crazy, man. This is never going more YouTube followers. So PreHeat has 12,000 and PreHeat has 8,000. Okay. All right. We don't understand these identical one of best mages. Legitimized opinions. Don't know the difference. I don't think people understand him using a name identical to one of the best mages in the world legitimizes opinions. People don't know the difference. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have the right to use the name, though. Just because the guy can legitimize his name because 2 other people simultaneously have the name doesn't mean that you can make somebody rename their character. Like, or rename their brand. Like, that's just not how it works. There sure are a lot of people here who are mad about capitalism. Well, this really isn't a... That's not a very smart opinion to have. What does this have to do with capitalism? Like, this is litigation culture. This has nothing to do with... If you want to talk about capitalism, you want to talk about a free market, the other guy's winning. Because he's got more subs and he's got more support. So, if anybody's mad about capitalism, it would be the guy from Limit. Like, yeah, using companies, using the legal system to strong-arm smaller people, or people that don't have the same resources as you, into complying with what you want them to do, is the exact opposite of capitalism. I get one in future. You're also a really nice book at chat. Don't be a douchebag, but be honest though, I'm not sure this was the play. Well, that's because it wasn't. Asking someone to do so who is producing content before you and has a larger following on YouTube and had a different spelling of an already unoriginal name to begin with, which makes it more unique, isn't trying to impersonate you. Here's what I think he should do. Is he clearly fucked up. He's clearly trying to strong-arm this person into doing what he wants. That's obviously what's happening here. I think you should just come on and say, listen, I acted like a complete ass. I made an ass out of myself. I used the legal system in a way that I shouldn't have. I apologize. And he should just go and use another name. He should change his name from PreHeat and he should be something else. Because if he doesn't do that, there's always going to be that hate for him. Like, use like your first name, use something like that. Yeah, don't be an Oven Andy. The name sucks. Pick a better name. Post Heat? Yeah, go with something that's different than this. Because here's the thing. Is people, like, so the reason why it's going to be bad for him is because he did something that people on the internet really hate. And he got an ego. Especially getting an ego over something that people don't necessarily consider something that you should have an ego over. So because of that, people are going to try to like break you down. People are going to try to push you down and make you feel like shit. Because you acted like you had a big ego and you were important because of a name that you're part of in a WoW guild. Of course people are going to meme on you about that. Rename to pre-cum? We can rename to whatever he wants. But to me, I just think he should rename to something completely different. Because he's obviously made a fool of himself. He's now enacted the legal system to basically punish somebody else. Like, in my opinion, I think that he should change his name. Because at this point, he's made such an ass out of himself. That's what he should have to do. Defrosted, rename to damage control. Rename to whatever he wants, right? But just something that's not like preheat. That's ultimately what it is. Cease heat? Yeah, there you go. If he did that, he apologized and he renamed himself. He's like, listen, I'm going to call myself something else right now and just move past this. I would completely accept the apology. I would say, listen, we all get like that sometimes. It's fine. But you can't just like, you can't threaten somebody with genuine legal action and then just say, oops, my bad. Like, this is actually like a real thing where you're affecting somebody else's business and their life. And not only are you doing that, but you're doing that in an unfair and strong-arm way. I don't like this at all. Aspen changed the narrative, clearly edited the messages 2 years later. That's actually a really good point. Yeah, if he's actually editing the messages and then filing a claim as if he told them that 2 years ago, that is like genuine fucking fraud. Like, that's not like a joke or anything like that. Check new tweet. Let me see. There's no tweet. From PreHeat. Oh, PreHeat. Oh, wrong PreHeat. Okay, give me a second. What does he say here? I'm gonna PreHeat. Any point it's a sudden urge to apologize, let me know. Maybe invoice this time so we can't edit our messages 2 years from now. Yeah, that's about right, man. That's about right. Yeah, wrong oven. That's my bad, dude.